brand deals. We all want them, but we all don't feel like we can get them. Hello, my big beauty besties. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. You guys are going to really like today's video. We are going to be talking about how to get yourself some paid brand deals. We're going to be talking all about how to get yourself a paid brand deal. If you are a content creator, I know that you want to get a paid brand deal. Maybe you've already had a small one, or maybe you have just always dreamed about getting a paid brand deal where you can talk about a product that you really love, or maybe one that you haven't even tried yet, and share it on the internet. I have been able to get myself paid brand deals through TikTok Shop, as well as just being a content creator where I didn't have to link the product at all. I've been able to get myself free product as well as actual paid brand deals. Before we dive into how to get them, let's talk a little bit about what they are. If you're a brand new content creator or you just literally don't know how to actually handle a brand deal, let's talk about it. A brand deal is when you get in contact with a brand and you share with them, or they share with you, the interest in working together. Once you've agreed that you're going to work together, you like the product, you're going to start setting forth your rates and exactly what the agreement is. There's usually a contract in place, and then you, the creator, are going to receive the product or maybe the app or whatever the brand is wanting you to promote. You're going to make a video and then post it to your page. That brand will then pay you for that, what we have now dubbed the brand deal. Sometimes this is for one video. Sometimes the brand doesn't even want you to post the video on your own accounts. They want to post it to their own. That's more what we call UGC, user generated content. And sometimes the brand deal is actually for multiple videos over a few months. There is a lot that goes into brand deals, and they kind of work all different ways. But my first thing that I want you guys to know is that you are the creator and you get to decide how these brand deals go. These brands are working with a lot of creators. A lot of the time they have a certain budget allotted to being able to pay a creator to promote their item, because the more people that are talking about an item, the more excitement that it drums up. And this is why brands actually pay creators to talk about their product. There are a few ways you can get brand deals. Either you can actually reach out to brands, or a brand will reach out to you. If you have never participated in a brand deal though, what I do want you to do first is just a few things. First of all, make sure that you have a really good profile picture and a clear bio that actually includes your emails. You do not want brands having to go fishing or looking in your link in bio, or even having to message you for your email, because a lot of times they just aren't going to do that and they're going to pass you by. You are reaching out to brands. You want to make sure that your profile looks clean. It can be raw and authentic, but you do want it to be clear with exactly what you are sharing, who you are as a person, and what kind of content you make. Everything you post should have good lighting, have you clearly speaking, or following a certain niche. Working on your engagement helps too, trying to get people to engage through comments and shares on your profile, because the more a brand sees that you have influence on your community, the more that they are going to be willing to work with you. Once you have your profile all optimized, something else you can do is actually create a portfolio. A portfolio is just going to show some of the work you have either A, done with other brands before, or B, if you've never worked with a brand before, you can put a few videos in there that you maybe mock create up and put them in your portfolio so that brands can see exactly what kind of work you do. I usually add my email in there, how many numbers I have on social media right then, and sometimes I add my rates. The rates you put on your portfolio, or what you discuss when you're talking to a brand, can range significantly depending on how many followers you have and how good your engagement is. I personally say for a brand new creator that maybe has under 5,000 followers and is just really getting started working with brands, that you want to charge between $100 and $300 per video. A brand might pay you more, or they might not be willing to pay that, but for you as the creator, I want you to set your worth to what you are willing to work for. The first maybe 3 deals you do, you might charge only $100, and then after that you can go up to that more $300 to $500 range per video. I personally would do a little bit more research myself, because I do not feel comfortable really telling you exactly how much you charge, but I again normally tell people between $100 and $300 for the first few, and then kind of go from there depending on how well those first brand deals go. Once you kind of have that portfolio set up, this is where you can actually start reaching out to brands. I literally just go onto a brand's website, or I search up if a brand has a collab email. There are also a lot of like lists out there on TikTok or just literally on Google of brands' PR teams, and I start reaching out to them, letting them know like, hey, hello, I'm a creator, I love your brand, I love your product, here's my portfolio, would you like to work together? A lot of times you aren't going to get any answer whatsoever, but then sometimes you do. This is how a lot of brand collaborations start. That's just one way to get a brand's attention though. Another way is make sure in every video that you use a product of a brand, especially if you want to work with them, just tag them. You could tag up to 10, different brands per video you do, or another really good way is just tag one product. If you're doing a whole skincare regimen, just tag your favorite brand and make it a big deal when you talk about that brand in your video, because that's really going to get that brand's attention. I do this anytime I see a brand that I really want to work with. I try to focus a video on my page about them and see if maybe they reach out to me, or this can also open the door to you reaching out to them and being like, hey, look, I already love your product. Would you like to work together? The third way you're going to get that brand's attention is back to that bio we talked about, putting your email there so that a brand can actually reach out to you. There are a lot of brands out there that do their own outreach and will be emailing you through that email. I make sure to just keep a pulse on my email. If you create a second email for this brand deal so that you have one place to do it, just make sure you're checking it a lot so that you see if anything comes through. Once that first stage is done of you actually getting connected with that brand and starting that conversation, normally you will then start talking about what the specifications are for a post. A lot of times brands will have a certain thing they want you to talk about in the video, or they will actually have a content brief that they send you. Make sure you align with it and you want to move forward. In most cases, before the deal is settled, you will have a contract. I always ask the brand if they would like to provide one or they would like me to provide one, and most time brands will have one already set forth. I would just read over that. You can give it to a lawyer to read over, or just make sure that you are very meticulous and look at everything that they have included in there, how many videos you're supposed to post, how long it needs to be up on your account, what the ad usage is on it. Just make sure you look over all of that and that you align before you sign it. This is a legally binding contract once you sign it, so you want to make sure that you are completely okay with anything that's on it. A lot of time brands are going to want to pay you after the fact of the brand deal is over and the video is posted. But if you, as the creator, decide that you want to be paid before, you just need to make sure to discuss that with the brand you're talking to and see if they're open to that. Some brands will pay you half before and half after, all before or all after. That's just another thing to be aware of, and make sure that you guys are on the same page before you get started. Once all of that is figured out, you both have signed the contract, then you are able to move forward and actually make the video. There's usually a time set forth in the contract of exactly how far that is, so just make sure that you're following all of those guidelines so that you keep a really good partnership with the brand you're working with. Once that video is posted and you get paid, you are good to go. Sometimes those brands will reach out to you again, or I actually will do a little check-in maybe 2 months later, seeing if that brand, if everything went really well, wants to work together again. My biggest tip for brand deals is to be yourself. Make sure that you're not doing anything that you are uncomfortable with, and do not be afraid to reach out to brands. The worst thing they can say is no in the moment, and they could always come back to you later. I actually have one company that I believe I reached out to them on Instagram and I really wanted to work with them, and 6 months later they reached out to me through email. I don't even know if they got it like through my bio. I don't really care how they got it, but I ended up getting a like 2 $700 collabs with them because they emailed me later. Hopefully this was super helpful and you feel just a little bit more confident about getting those brand deals. If you guys have any more questions though, make sure you put them in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, give it a like, and go binge all of my other content. I talk a ton about how to make money online. I also have lots of free resources for you guys, and as always, I will link those in the description.